of context for what we're here to talk about today, what we want to do together today, and why we're making a series of fairly major updates at Silver Lining. In about 20 minutes, I'm going to be joined by Liz Wilke, who's an economist at JPMorgan Chase. And the theme we're going through today is really how do we build a thriving small business economy? And so I'm going to share Silver Lining's plans. We're going to talk to Liz about what she's seeing from an economic point of view. And then we're going to get to work together. As you guys know, everything about Silver Lining is about action. We believe that there are big things to do in the world. And yes, we want to talk about it a little bit, but mostly we need to get to action and get to work to solve the big issues in the world. And so we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to learn a little bit, and then we're going to take action together today. With all of that being said, the big news at Silver Lining today is that for all of you who know and love SLAP, Silver Lining has been around for 20 years. And for 20 years, our core product has been called SLAP, which is a Silver Lining Action Plan. The methodology that I designed, that the whole company is based on, is the Silver Lining Action Plan. And so the software, as you all know, many of you who have logged into it hundreds, thousands of times, has been called SLAPcenter forever and ever and ever and ever. And today we're really excited to announce that SLAPcenter has been rebranded to Silver. And Silver is, let me just tell you why. Why Silver? Silver is, when I originally started Silver Lining, I wanted to find a name for the company, Silver Lining, that represented everything that I thought silver stood for. Silver is bold and exciting, and it's used for fun jewelry, and it's used for art installations, and it's provocative, and it's modern, and it's beautiful. It's also practical. We use it for cutlery, for coins. It's practical, it's tactical, it's real. And I love what silver stands for because it can be beautiful and artistic and bold and modern while also being incredibly useful and practical and tactical and tangible. And so as we've built Silver Lining over these years, those of you who know us well and have been a part of this company for a while, everything is silver at Silver Lining. We have silver parties, we have silver holidays, we have silver stars, everything is silver. And we had this realization, why is the core thing we do not just silver? Why isn't the main thing we do silver? And so we're really, really excited to have SLAPcenter become Silver. Silver Small Business is the new URL, silversmallbusiness.com. And I am going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek as to what you can expect from the new and improved Silver. So let me share my screen. Can you all see it? Give me a little bit of emoji if you see it. If you go to slapcenter.com, you may have discovered this morning and had a small heart attack. It will take you to Silver Small Business. So we used to have URL smallbizsilverlining.com, slapcenter.com. Everything is now in one beautiful place, silversmallbusiness.com. It works exactly the same way as before. So if you're trying to log into your account, you just go to login, you log in, and you're going to get right back to where you were the last time you were in the software. All your data is the same. All of your experience is the same. Everything's the same. But let me tell you a couple of things that make me excited about Silver. First of all, I have to say you guys were all Slapsters before. Now you're Silvers, which is very exciting. But one of our Silvers immediately figured this out. The logo I love so much. One of the basic premises of all the things we do at Silver Lining is that our actions equal results. And we built SLAPcenter now Silver, to help small business owners get all of the structure and the support that behavior change science says all of us need to succeed. So really, what does Silver do? Silver is here to help you get results. And so instead of coming in and logging into SLAPcenter, you log into Silver. And what happens inside of Silver? You get results. Your actions equal results, and Silver will help you get those results. So everything we do now in support of you and sort of being a small business is about driving everything to equaling results, giving you all of the structure, the support, everything you need to succeed. So that is why I love that logo so much and why the brand, I think, is so exciting. A couple of other things that I want to show you guys. Of course, the website just looks fabulous thanks to a ton of people who I'll give shout outs to in a second. But there's also a bunch of really great stuff in here that I want you guys to just start paying attention to. The first is that if you click on this YouTube button, it's going to take you to a new and improved Silver Small Business YouTube channel. We're going to be uploading new content to YouTube 3 to 4 times a week. That's new lessons, new learnings, all free. You can share it with your friends. The coolest part that I'm excited about is that we're going to be releasing a Silver story every single week. So here are a bunch of you absolutely incredible business owners from around the world. And as we say all the time, we are on a mission to change the global economy one small business at a time. And every single small business owner in our community plays a critical role in that global change we're here to make. So I'm going to give you guys updates on how to make sure you get featured if you want to be. But here are the first Silver stories where we have amazing small business owners from different countries around the world telling their stories, sharing their expertise, all with the mission of all of us helping each other succeed. The other thing that I really love, as you guys all know, the magical human beings that make Silver Lining what it is are the previously known SLAP experts, now the Silver experts. There's our dear Bilal, there's Luke, there's Chris, there's Irene. And so we're going to be accepting questions from you guys, small businesses around the world, and our SLAP experts will be doing answers loaded up here on a regular basis, so that we can raise the profile of the incredible Silver experts around the world, and also get small businesses questions answered. So come to YouTube. You're going to see a lot of amazing stuff here growing all the time, hopefully including us being able to feature you. You'll see that Instagram and LinkedIn and all of the places that we operate around the world have been updated. And of course, if you guys missed it, you might be under a rock, but we launched Small News a couple of weeks ago. We have our 3rd issue this week. This is led by the fearless Sierra on our team, but this is a new free media platform where we are releasing a weekly issue every Monday, and every single issue tells the story of an incredible small business owner from our global community, has perspectives from global small business leaders talking about the state of small business in the world. It has small desk articles, basically breaking news on big issues in the world that are affecting small businesses. It has a training by me every week. It has a really fun cartoon created by the incredible Dave Zabosky, a small laugh for us every week. Every single week, a Slapster writes an op-ed on an important issue affecting small businesses. So we can see that this issue, we feature Christina Ellerton, and her op-ed is about being too busy to think. What do you do when your business runs you, not the other way around? And then every week, there's a new Small Talk episode where I host a LinkedIn Live the week earlier. I interview an amazing small business owner or small business expert, and it gets put into the next week issue. So last week, my LinkedIn Live, my small talk was with Rebecca Barucki, and you can watch the interview here. So I just want to make sure you see that when you come to the new Silver website, you get access to not just logging into the platform, but a one-stop shop for all sorts of incredible ways to access free content, extra resources, everything you need to know about Silver Lining, and of course, the login to the software that you've all come to hopefully know and love and use, and you're going to have the same amazing experience. We're going to go into the software together in a bit, and I'm going to show you some exciting new updates inside of the software. But I just first want to celebrate with all of you. Silver Small Business is live. One place to get everything you need to succeed. And we're going to spend some time together over the next couple of hours here on the mission page and on the resources page, which is full of amazing free stuff for you guys. But please come, use it, browse around. We're really excited about making sure you've got one place to go for all things silver lining. So that's the first thing I want to tell you. Now, the second thing I want to tell you, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to share a new screen. Is I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek and make 4 big announcements before Liz gets here. And these announcements are tied to why we asked Liz to speak today. As I mentioned, Liz is one of the chief business economists at JPMorgan Chase. She's got a really, I think, fabulous point of view on what's happening in the global economy and what that means for all of us as small business owners and small business leaders. So when she gets here in a couple of minutes, we're going to listen deeply to what her thoughts are, but it's connected to the big picture of this big announcement that we're doing today. Why are we changing everything to silver? What's the bigger picture? We are going to be announcing throughout the next couple of days Silver Lining's own 3-year plan to support small businesses globally and to build what we're calling the silver economy. And so this is the public report we're going to be releasing early next week. I'm giving you guys a sneak peek. You'll see that it's not 100% done. So you're seeing a true sneak peek. I'll be finishing it over the next couple of days and releasing it on Monday or Tuesday next week publicly to the full public, along with a press release. But what we want to do over the next couple of years is be incredibly transparent and report out, much like public companies are mandated to report out. We're not a public company, but we're going to choose to report out the progress we're making as a community on really changing the global economy, one small business at a time. We've lived with this very audacious vision for 20 years. I always say we've got so much data to prove that this vision is not just a big idea. It's actually possible to create real change. And what we want to do is for 3 years, start to release quarterly impact reports, data and stats on the success rates, the struggles, the failures, the realities of our global community of small businesses, and use that to advocate for system-wide change in support of small business. So here's the storyline of our 3-year plan. First and most importantly, some of you celebrated our 20-year anniversary with us in New York in April. We had the best time celebrating. But as I keep saying, we're 20 years in, but we are just getting started. Changing the global economy one small business at a time is lifetimes of work. And so while we're here and while we're so excited of everything and proud of everything we've done so far, we're not going anywhere. We're just getting started and we got so much to do. When you've been in business doing the same work for 20 years, you learn a lot. And the big things that we want the world to know we've learned is that number one, small businesses really can succeed. I have been traveling through Africa for the last 3.5 weeks, speaking at a big small business finance conference. And one of the big messages that I kept delivering over and over and over again is that small business owners are not charity cases. You guys don't need aid. You don't need grants. You don't need nonprofits to take on the cause of small business. We need to create a thriving global economy where you can generate revenue, where you have access to opportunity. And we see it every single day at Silver Lining based on how amazing all of you are. When you have access to the right opportunity, you can and you do succeed. And so my mission is to make sure that the world knows that small businesses really can succeed. We know that to be true. The second thing, and this is something I'm very proud of, is that actually this SLAP methodology really does work. I designed the methodology, the 5-step process to build a 1-year growth plan for a small business in 3 hours or less, 20 years ago, and it has not changed at all, and it doesn't need to. You'll see that we're making all sorts of tweaks and adjustments and alignments to our strategy, but we're not changing anything about the core methodology of what we do, and that's something that I just think is really incredible. That while all of us are so different, and while the world continues to change so rapidly, at the core of what it takes to build a profitable, sustainable business, that hasn't changed at all. And so that's our second big learning. The third big learning that I believe we've learned at Silver Lining, but we're determined to prove to the world in the next 3 years, is that you can build a business with justice. That the world we're living in, where we're seeing a move away from many things that are justice oriented, where there's a cry for businesses to focus on profit at all costs, where we think that governments and nonprofits should do the good work and businesses just go make money. That model has not worked. Look at the state of the world right now. And Silver Lining is living proof that you can actually align building a for-profit business with creating a better world and striving for justice. And so we are going to continue to be loud and proud about that, and continue to drive that change in the world. As we did these last 20 years of work, we of course completed the Silver Lining World Tour, which I got a chance to meet and see many of you at. I went to 20 countries over the last couple of years leading up to our 20-year anniversary, which was nothing short of incredible. And there were a couple of key learnings that came out of that world tour that cemented learnings we'd already known from our 20 years in business. One is we're more similar than we think. If you guys know anything about Silver Lining, we joyfully celebrate how different and diverse our community is. We say this all the time, but regardless of country of origin, sexual orientation, the race or the body you were born in, your neurodivergence, your special abilities, regardless of any of our differences, you are welcome at Silver Lining. And as we are so beautifully diverse and different in this global community, we're so similar. All of us as humans are more similar than we think. And if we celebrate our differences and also get past them and focus on how we are so indeed similar, we all want the same things. And in meeting thousands of small businesses in these 20 countries around the world, and in asking these questions over and over again, the 4 things that every small business owner basically said they wanted and needed more of was emotional support, revenue, capital, and connections. And so everything you're going to see at Silver Lining has always been focused on making sure you get those 4 things, but we're going to continue to make sure that that's true in the years ahead. And then the last learning from these past 20 years and these 20 countries, this world tour, is that systemic change is absolutely required. The reality continues to be true that no matter how hard all of you incredible small business owners work, the odds are stacked against the majority of business owners, especially from the global majority. And we need scalable, affordable, comprehensive, long-term support for every small business in the world. Hey, that's Silver. Good, we did that. I put that in little brackets. Hey, we did this. That's the good news. We need blended capital and creative capital solutions to make sure you can get access to capital when you need it in the right way. That's the Silver Capital products that we've built and we're going to continue to build. We need to engage business leaders to create better solutions for small business owners, not just leave it to government and nonprofits. We need to advocate for changes in tax code so that small business owners are taxed differently than individuals or enterprises. And we need to build a global awareness of why small business is so important and shift consumer thinking to respect, admire, and buy from small business. So these are our 5 big mandates for systems change over the next 3 years. Now, the big message I'll tell you all is the time is now. Even though it seems like the world is falling apart in many ways, even though we are in the midst of unending uncertainty, regardless of what your beliefs are about the macro changes in politics and the economy, technology, AI, there's so much going on. Anyone that says they know exactly what's happening is lying. Don't listen to them. Be wary of anyone that thinks they've got it all figured out right now, because they're lying. I don't think anyone does. What I do know is that the time is now. Even in the midst of all this uncertainty and all this change, it's time for us as a business community to step up, get into action, and build what we're calling the silver economy. So here's our stance. Small businesses are a critical global economic factor. You guys are the most important factor in the economy, hands down. You deserve better. Small businesses absolutely deserve better. The types of small business trainings and programs and incubators and accelerators and high interest loans and all the things that are out there to help small businesses grow are largely unhelpful to all of you. I would argue that the industry is failing you all dramatically, and you deserve better. And we're going to talk about that. You guys deserve justice, not aid. Small business and the lack of success is a justice issue, and the solution is to create access and opportunity, not to treat small business owners like charity cases. It's time to modernize technical assistance and capital. And business leaders need to lead the way. It is time for business leaders to step up to build the economy we all want to live in, not rely on governments and not-for-profits. So here's Silver Lining's plan to do all those things. We're going to stay relentlessly small business first and aligned to our values of global, justice, audacious, integrated, others-oriented, responsible, and fun. We are simplifying our brand so that the parent company is Silver Lining, the product is silver, and the media platform is small. All of the other logos and brands and things you've seen about Silver Lining over the years are gone as of today, and we're simplifying and streamlining so we can be more organized, more diligent, more focused, and we can just get to the work of making sure that this vision comes to life. We're building the silver economy. What does that mean? And this is what Liz and I are going to talk about. I noticed that you joined the room, Liz, so we're going to come to you in just 1 minute. What it means to build the silver economy, what we mean when we say that is that a silver economy fuels GDP growth, job creation, and local transactions. It's more than numbers. It is a shift in small business leadership guided by a silver standard, which we're going to talk about in a second, where time, money, and impact work together. It's about building prosperity that lasts with leaders who measure success, not just by profit, but by the positive change we create, I'm going to say. So what are we going to be measuring for the next 3 years? This is what we're going to be measuring and reporting out on quarterly. We're going to be releasing Silver Linings quarterly report. We don't have shareholders. Our community are our shareholders. The public are our shareholders, but we're going to hold ourselves accountable. We're going to be tracking the rise in profitable revenue that this global community of small business owners is generating by all of us doing our part to grow our businesses. We're going to be creating a rise in available jobs and opportunities for people to make a livelihood with dignity and respect. We're going to be reporting how many small business owners are happy and whole as they build their businesses. This is not just about growing revenue, but it's about being healthy and whole as we do it. It's about activating high net worth business leaders to come and join this mission, to move how they do and run their businesses to align to this vision. It's about measuring a collective return, which is the opposite of the wealth divide. It's about being able to prove that when business leaders create success, where everyone wins, all stakeholders win, we actually shrink the wealth divide and make the economy work better for everyone. And it's about driving a real systemic change in the small business industry. This is the silver economy. When all of these things are happening, we will have collectively built the silver economy. And for every single human in this room, we want your business to sit at the center of growing your freedom and your influence. How do you grow your freedom? By becoming higher performing and having a more profitable, sustainable small business, which means you have more time and money. How do you grow your influence in the world? You grow your profitable, sustainable revenue and your contribution, and you grow your money and your impact. And we believe that when there are tens of thousands of small business owners globally who are growing their performance, their profitable, sustainable growth, and their contribution, when all of you literally have more time, more money, and more impact 3 years from now, that means everyone in this room will have more freedom and more influence. What happens when people like this, everyone in this room times tens of thousands, when we all have more freedom and influence? We change the global economy. We change the culture of entrepreneurship. We change and we shrink the wealth divide. We create an economy that works for everybody, not just the 1%. That's what we're talking about when we say we're going to build the silver economy together over the next 3 years. Now, how do we drive real economic growth? We launch Silver. We update the platform and we do a couple of really exciting things, which we're going to talk more about after we hear from Liz. Jason, our head of product, is on standby, but we've got this new brand that brings us all together in this one mission to change the global economy one small business at a time and to make sure every single small business owner gets results. Jason's going to talk about a huge AI infusion that's coming over the next couple of months into the platform. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that in half an hour. There's going to be a big update to the Connect section inside of Silver so that we can drive way more business between Silvers, between all of you. So we're going to be doing business with each other like crazy for the next 3 years. We're going to physically find ways to help each other hit each other's goals by buying from each other. And we're going to grow Silver Capital, including launching a Silver credit card. So you know how there's like those fancy Silver Amex cards? They're going to have nothing on us. We're going to have fancy Silver credit cards for small businesses everywhere, and we're going to feel proud of our wallets, and we're going to be able to do transactions across borders with reasonable fees. We're going to solve some of these big issues that affect small businesses and being able to transact over these next couple of years. So that's the vision of how Silver will step up to meet the needs of every single one of you so that we can build this global economy. This is the Silver standard, and it goes right back to this vision of building the silver economy. We are going to be a global community of people who use our businesses to grow our time, our money, and our impact. And we're going to start measuring all of these growth areas in Silver and calculating the growth of wellness across our community over the next 3 years, the growth of money across our community, and the growth of impact on our families, on job creation, on communities, and the economy as a collective. We're going to celebrate small constantly for the next 3 years. We've launched small news. We're launching small books in 2026. And we're launching a marketplace where if you are a Silver, you are going to automatically be loaded into a public marketplace called Buy Small so that we can have the general public go and find you and buy from you. So using the platform means not only do you get all the structure and support inside of Small, but you'll be in a public marketplace where we're going to be driving people to buy from you in a really exciting way. So for the next 3 years, we're going to be releasing weekly issues on Small News, new books through Small Books, and we're going to be launching this marketplace where people can come and find you and buy from you at Buy Small. And then we're really focused on galvanizing a global shift. This is where we'll be releasing our quarterly Silver economic reports. This is very exciting. We are going to be doing biannual economic summits. You guys are going to see, you should all follow me on LinkedIn. Every day for the next 10 days, there's going to be another detailed announcement tied to everything I'm telling you right now. And one of them will be the dates of the next 4 biannual economic summits. The first week of May 2026, we are going to be in Nairobi, Kenya for 5 days doing a Global Community Economic Summit. The first week in November 2026, we are going to be in St. Lucia in the Caribbean. The first week of May 2027, we're going to be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And the first week of November 2027, we're going to be in Bogota, Colombia. So wherever you live in the world, our hope is that you can come to one or more of those. And we've chosen locations that have lots of direct flights, affordable accommodation, and our hope is to gather as many of our community members together for these economic summits every 6 months as we possibly can to fuel this big mission. And then we've launched the Silver Circle, which is a group of high net worth business leaders who are coming on board to join this mission to make sure every small business in our community has everything you need to succeed. We are driving real global growth, including launching Impact 5X Phase 3. Which will now be called Silver 5X. And this is the last thing I'll say, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen to say this one out loud because I think it's so exciting. And then Liz, be ready. I'm going to pull you up and we're going to talk about how we really build a silver economy in the context of what's going on in the macroeconomic economy right now. But the last announcement I want to make, and this is the last thing that I'll announce next week, is that by the end of this 3-year plan, we will have sold Silver Lining into a purpose trust. For those of you who don't maybe know what a purpose trust is, a purpose trust is a vehicle like a land trust. You know how you sometimes hear about land that's been transferred into a land trust? It basically protects the land so it can't be commercialized or taken over by developers. There's a growing movement. It's still very, very, very small. There's very few businesses that have done it. We'll be among the first, but this is similar to what Patagonia's founder did. If you guys saw the news about that, we're going to be creating a purpose trust, raising money into the purpose trust, and that purpose trust is going to buy Silver Lining from me. I currently own Silver Lining. I will be selling Silver Lining, the entire business, into the purpose trust at a very significant discount to its valuation. The reason I'm selling it into the purpose trust and not just transferring it is because I think justice means that I get rewarded for building this company and our staff get rewarded for building this company. So we're going to create a little mini wealth event for everyone that works at Silver Lining because that is justice. We are a for-profit company, not a charity. So we will raise money into the purpose trust. The purpose trust will buy the asset from me. I will share the earnings through the whole staff at Silver Lining. We will create a mini wealth event for all the long-term team members at Silver Lining, which is absolutely fair and just. I always say I'm not a martyr. And if I was a woman that built this company for 23 years and then gave it away, shame on me. That is exactly what's wrong with the world. And that is not justice. I'm going to sell this sucker. I'm going to make a little bit of money because I deserve to, like all of you do. But then the purpose trust will own Silver Lining forever. And there's two cool things that I want to tell you guys about that. The first is that we're going to go through a community design process where all of us in the community, the staff, the partners, the silvers, all of us are going to design the operating agreement for that purpose trust together. And that operating agreement will be what is true forever to hold and run Silver Lining. So it stays small business first, values aligned, and it stays true to its purpose forever, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to come. And we will design that together as a community. And the second thing, which is the excitement, this is the thing I'm most excited about in all of these announcements, is that in the purpose trust, every single employee at Silver Lining will have shares in the purpose trust, and every single silver, every year you renew your account, will get a share in the trust. You will become an owner of that purpose trust. And so if you're someone like the incredible Melody Bissell, who's had a silver account for 15 years, 3 more years from now, she'll be at 18 years. She will, when that trust starts, she will have 18 shares in it. If you're Amy Smith and you've already had a SLAP for 3 years, and in 3 years from now, it's been 6, she'll start, when the trust goes live, she'll have 6 shares in it. And every single silver, for as long as as the company is alive, every year you renew, you'll earn another share in the trust, and you will keep those shares as long as you stay in active silver. And so what that means is, as all of us as a global community work together to grow our individual businesses, we win together. We literally create collective return together. We, Silver Lining, have the responsibility of making sure this platform gives you everything you need to succeed. You have the responsibility of succeeding and staying active and being committed to each other and staying in this community and staying engaged. And together, the value of this asset that we all have together grows and grows and grows. We create a collective return in the economy, but we create a collective return as a community. Every single one of us win together. And that's what the silver economy is. That's what using business as a tool for justice is. So that's what we're up to at Silver Lining. This is what's happening over the next 3 years. It's not just a new URL. It's not just a logo. It is a culmination of 20 years of history into an incredibly, incredibly clear vision for the next 3 years, clear KPIs, public accountability, driving against the sale into the purpose trust, and being able to look all of ourselves in the eyes over the next 3 years and say, we're doing this, and every single person needs to do it. As we say at Silver Lining, we are Silver Lining. I'm not Silver Lining. I feel so strongly about that I will not even own Silver Lining. I will be one of the shareholders along with all of you in 3 years. We will own Silver Lining. We are Silver Lining. We build Silver Lining. We are Silver Lining. We will win together as Silver Lining, and we, Silver Lining, can create this economic shift that we all know is so desperately needed in the world. So we got to do it. Are we in? Are we ready? How fun is it? Do you guys like it? Tell me what you think. Tell me. You know, when you've been doing something for so long and all you've been doing is QAing and thinking and writing and designing, you lose all track of it. I love it so much, but it matters much, much more that all of you love it so much, that we are all in this together. I'm going to take a moment to read all the comments afterwards. I just realized that I have 412 comments. So I will read them all later. But I really mean this when I say I welcome your feedback. All of us at Silver Lining welcome your feedback. There are going to be all sorts of tweaks and adjustments. And listen, we're doing an incredibly hard thing. As I said to someone at a conference last week, we are doing an almost impossible thing. But that's even more reason to do it. That's even more reason to get it done and to do this good work. And so, yes, it's almost impossible. Yes, it's a lot that needs to get done in 3 years, but have you all met me before? Have you been around Silver Lining for a while? Of course we're going to do it. And so I just want to say that all of this, I say it with gratitude. We got to where we are at Silver Lining because of every single one of you. And we will get to where we're going because of every single one of you. And so I'm inviting and asking all of you, please make this vision your own. This 3-year vision, it's not mine. It's not the staff's of Silver Linings. It's ours. And if every one of us do our part, we can do anything. Of course we can. And we will. We must. We can. We will. We must. So let me introduce you, Liz, and then let me ask you, I've got 5 questions for you. I'll put them in order of priority, and if we don't get to all 5, I'll make sure I respect your time. So first of all, everybody, we want to go build this silver economy for the next 3 years. We're going to go build the silver economy. We can't ignore the fact that we are obviously in some sort of cosmic something. I don't know what it is. Maybe Liz does. What as it relates to macro politics, macro technology, macro economy. And so one of the things that we're diving into a lot, on Small News and Small Talk, we're going to be talking about a lot in these quarterly economic reports. We're going to be talking about it a lot at the biannual economic summits we're going to run, is like, what is really going on in politics, economy, and technology? And how is it really affecting small businesses? What do we do about it? If we can't change these big macro trends, how do we respond to them in the right way? Liz is, I hope she agrees. She's become a good friend of mine. We met through work when she used to work at Gusto. She now has a fabulous job at JPMorgan Chase, and they're very lucky to have her. And Liz is one of the only people I've ever met in the entire world who really likes talking about the economy like I do, but is also super nerdy, but very cool, and has such, I think, practical, helpful, reasonable insights into the economy. Instead of making it feel mystical and confusing and using words that no one understands, Liz just says what's true. So, Liz, welcome, first of all. Thank you for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, Carissa.
Okay, so my first question for everyone is, what the heck is happening in the economy right now? What do you think is going on?
Okay, so I'm glad we didn't start out with the easy questions. I'm glad we're right into it.
Yeah. Can you just tell us what's happening, Liz?
Yeah, I'll do my best in the time that we have. I will tell everyone, I do not have a crystal ball. I'm doing my best, just like everybody else is, to figure this all out. And also, I'm going to caveat that JPMorgan Chase is a US based organization. I know everybody here is sort of global. I know, Carissa, the footprint of Silver Linings is global. I'm going to do my best. I am also going to say, I'm kind of like the weather person, where talking about the global weather isn't really relevant to know what's going on in your neighborhood. So hopefully you'll end with at least one thing that you think is interesting, but I'm not going to claim to talk about what's going on for any specific business in any specific place, because that's just beyond the scope here. But I think there are some big themes that really we are sort of grappling with. I think one, honestly, the trade renegotiations are a huge issue, right? The tariffs and trade negotiations are affecting how people are looking for suppliers, what you're able to export. It's causing delays at, large ports when people are trying to figure out what is the effective tariff rate that you should apply. For small businesses in particular, this is really hard because large enterprises can ask for exemptions, right? And they have staff and ability to sort of manage relationships, right, with customs and border agents to sort of facilitate movements and this, that, and the other. And small businesses tend to be price takers, right? And so also the uncertainty and the volatility, right? I mean, even just from the United States, right, we've seen there's going to be 80% tariffs on some things, and then it's 15%, and then it gets delayed. And I think just a lot of that volatility and uncertainty, which is, I think, honestly, it's the overarching biggest theme, is that there's just a ton of uncertainty. There's uncertainty because of trade and tariff negotiations. There is uncertainty because of geopolitical instability that is happening in lots of places. There is uncertainty because of the fiscal condition that lots of governments, especially in wealthy countries, find themselves in, because many countries financed a lot of COVID relief through federal budgets. And I think it's okay. You don't want, lots of governments were trying to support people then, but now we have sort of this sort of looming specter of will governments be able to pay back their bills, and investors, people who invest in government debt, are sort of, I think, asking the same question. There are some bright spots. There's, a weak dollar, which is encouraging purchasing from abroad, right? So that has been supportive of lots of countries that supply to the United States. And in general, we actually do expect, so the IMF global outlook is a little the US is sort of right in the middle, but emerging Asia and sub-Saharan Africa have robust growth rates projected into 2026 in the 4 to 5% range. That's real. That's after you account for inflation. Europe is sort of on the low side, and the Middle East is sort of somewhere in between. So, I mean, nobody's sort of forecasting a global recession in any sense. But what we do know is that the risks are on the downside, and uncertainty is really, really high. And I think what that means for any business, right, when things are risky, what I think happens is two things. You sit on investments because you don't want to commit yourself in a time when lots of things could change. And I don't think a lot of businesses think about this, but I think they should, is in times of uncertainty, in the words of Warren Buffett, you should think about how to protect your downside, right? Because if you have a business and anything, literally anything could happen, you don't want to lose 20% of your business in a shock, because then you have to grow it 25% just to get back to where you were. And I think that figuring out how to do, right, thinking what happens in my best case scenario, my mid case scenario, the worst thing I could think about that happens, doing that scenario planning, and then think about how do I make my business robust, right, to the worst thing that could happen so that I don't lose it. Because if you lose your business, it becomes way, way harder to build it back up again, right? You really want to think about preserving your downside and sort of setting your business up to be really resilient and robust to anything that could happen. I'm not saying that anything bad will happen. I'm saying that the risks are elevated at this point and uncertainty is really, really high. And I'll stop because I know, Carissa, you have lots of other questions, but then I think the technology bit is really, really, really important. And it's been ongoing for a few years, and it's going to continue to unfold. And so I think technology is both coming at us very fast and coming at small business owners very fast. But I do not think there is an option to remove yourself from the pace of that development and wait to see what happens. I think by that time, you'll be so far behind that it will be really hard. So I would counsel small business owners to lay the groundwork now. Lots of things are being figured out. So we have like general language models, for instance, that are very good for answering customer emails, but not so good for lots of other things that business owners need. But you can look ahead a couple of years and say, once people figure out the business use case, right, in education, or the business use case in marketing, or the business use case in manufacturing, we're going to get technology solutions that are really tailored to the verticals that small businesses are in. And in my opinion, that's when things are really going to start to happen, and we're really going to start to see things sort of shuffle up. So I would say now is the time. If you are not thinking about how these technologies could affect your business, now is the time to start to educate yourself. Because if you think things are moving fast now, they're about to move a whole lot faster once people start to figure out how to solve business use cases with these technologies. So I'll pause there because that was like a lot, Carissa, and I know you probably want to ask me a bunch of other
it's so
things.
good. I want to double down on 3 things you said and just clarify, confirm, because I think it's really interesting for our community. The first is you said, no, there's not many, or really nobody is predicting a full out recession right now. Everyone is aware of uncertainty. Everyone knows that there's risk factors in the economy, but would you say it's true that the general consensus is that the prediction is not that there's a massive recession looming? That's probably not what people expect right now. Is that accurate?
That is not what people expect right now.
Okay. So everyone, there's a lot of fear in our community around, oh my God, what if it all falls apart, right? So it's changing, but unlikely it's going to all fall apart. Change could mean different things for all of us. And that's what Liz is encouraging us to think about. How do we make sure we're ready for the change, keep up with the change? But the assignment for all of us in the community is how do we respond, adapt, iterate? Not how do we sort of sit in fear of a recession. That's probably not the most helpful use of our energy. The other thing you said, Liz, that I think is really compelling, and we're seeing this, is that emerging markets are showing, ongoing growth, whereas maybe big established markets like America, Europe are maybe stalling out. And I think that that's compelling because a lot of our community is in Asia, Africa, the Middle East, LATAM, and we are definitely experiencing that. We're seeing that business in America and Europe, harder, slower, tougher, budgets getting stuck, budgets getting, just moving a little bit more clunky, but things are moving quite quickly and with a lot of energy. I just got back from 3.5 weeks in Africa. I mean, so that's just worth noting, even for all of us that are not based in those emerging markets. Maybe that's where there's business opportunity to think about. Liz, would you agree that that's a true thing to double down on?
Yeah, I mean, I think if your business model supports, right, lots of businesses are local, right, and they are serving local communities or regional communities. But if your business model is or can be transnational, right, the biggest markets now may not be the fastest growing markets or the fastest moving opportunities for you. So I would definitely encourage you to always be sort of thinking about not just where are your customers today, but where could they come from tomorrow? And I think you're right, Carissa, there are potential opportunities, right, other places.
So this is I want to double down on something you said, but this is also my question. One of my concerns, and I'm not an economist, so maybe well, you're going to have a better point of view than I do. People need to be aware that change is coming. Keep some money in the bank, be prepared for a rainy day. Of course, always that's the right thing to do. Also, if everyone gets freaked out and starts to put all their money in a savings account and doesn't spend anything, we're going to stop the economy, right? And fear of a recession could cause a recession more than the actual macroeconomic realities. How do business leaders, what's your take on how we balance that? Yes, save for the downside. Keep spending so we don't cause a recession. There's a tug between those two things that are both true, I think, but seemingly in conflict with each other.
Carissa, so much ink has been spilled by economists over the last decades about this exact thing, right? People get nervous, they pull back. That, sort of starts the cycle where there's lower demand and then people get nervous and then they pull back more. And so that's true. You're actually a very good economist, Carissa, for not being an economist.
I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn. Liz Wilke says.
I think, there's no right answer. It depends on everybody's specific business. What you want to think about is, where would your sources of assets come from, right? If you are sitting on assets that you could leverage for finance, you probably don't need to save so much for a rainy day, and then you can keep spending, right? If you have no assets and no liquid savings and you're sort of right on the edge, if there was a shock to your business, you would become highly illiquid very quickly. And in an environment where credit providers will be pulling back at that time too, you don't want to be caught there. So you probably should build up a little bit of buffer to sort of manage that risk. And then I think if everybody sort of collectively thinks about, planning for the absolute worst situation is like a good way to stay alive, but not a great way to grow. Thinking about like a set of likely scenarios and think about how to plan to be robust against those scenarios. And then the rest of it, you should be investing, right, in your business or sort of putting in your community or growing your business in some other way. It's sort of like when we think about consumer financial health, everybody suggests that you have a rainy day fund. And businesses should also think about, right, having a rainy day fund or having capital that is working for them somewhere else, right? So maybe it's sitting in a high yield savings account, or maybe it's sitting in something that's like semi-liquid, but that you could call on if you needed it. There are a number of strategies that I think small businesses can take, but my advice isn't pull everything back and just wait to see what happens. That may feel good, but it's actually not the most robust strategy given, what we're looking at economically.
Yeah, I agree. If I could wave, I always ask people if they could wave a silver wand, a magic silver wand, what would they do? If I could wave a magic silver wand, I would think I would put 6 months of runway into every single small business owner in the world's bank account that they can't touch unless it's a crisis. So there's a little bit of a safety net, but then that would free business owners up to just spend and grow and invest, because your business is your biggest asset. So for all of us business owners, at the end of the day, even if we have a savings account or another thing, our biggest opportunity for wealth creation is more than likely the business we're building. And so if we hold the asset as opposed to growing the asset, we're actually hurting ourselves in the long term. So it's an and.
Yeah. And what I would say is, if, again, this is not the forecast, but if we do end up in a scenario where, right, we have a little bit of a downturn in some regions or others, that there will be opportunities, right?
Exactly.
Other businesses will come into trouble, right? And you could be in a position to have a profitable partnership, right? You could be in a position to find an opportunity, and you might want the money not because your business is in trouble, but because there's an opportunity, right, to sort of take someone else's business on, right, or to partner or to grow your business in some other way. And I think what we often think of is that downturns are only bad, and most successful business owners and leaders have figured out that downturns also present a unique set of opportunities that you may want to be prepared for.
Okay, you took you took my next question out of my mouth, which is exactly that, which is, a reminder to the community that no matter what happens, whether you think it is good or bad, whatever all of our opinions about what's happening in the world are, there's opportunity and uncertainty all the time. And part of the mindset shift that I think is critical is, instead of living in fear of the uncertainty, it's to live in curiosity in the uncertainty. What is going on? And business owners are so creative and insightful and full of ideas. Like, what could you do? I mean, that's to me one of the most interesting and important questions to be asking right now. So, Liz, my last question for you is, what do you think the opportunities might be in the next couple of years in the midst of all these big changes? Do you have any perspectives on pockets of markets, economy, types of businesses, types of trends? Is there anything that you just think is like uniquely interesting to pay attention to if we're all hunting for opportunities?
I do think that there are lots of opportunities. Again, without understanding sort of every vertical in every region, I think that, for instance, what I would say sort of generally is, there are opportunities where costs are high, demand is growing, and or technology is changing for the use case, right? And where all three of those are happening, you have additional opportunities. So a sort of clear use case is healthcare in the United States. We have a huge labor problem for medical workers in the United States. Attrition is very high. So, and people, right, are expensive part of providing medical care across the board. We also have a growing demand because we have an aging population with higher costs for their care. And we have technology in the form of computer vision and AI and automation that has the potential to help resolve some of those issues and to serve people at scale. I think education is another one of these, right? Where the costs of really skilled workers is very high. The supply of them is very low. The demand for high quality education is relatively constant. And the technology that is available is creating opportunities for new businesses to come in and say, I can solve this problem, right? I can solve a problem that this industry has. So I'm giving two examples here where I think there is both opportunity, but also a lot of churn and a lot of dynamism. And those two things always go hand in hand, right? Like when things are changing, that is where the opportunity exists. Because if everything is stable, everybody's already in their place, right? And there's not a lot of green space to work with. So I would say for every small business, think about, right, where are the opportunities where costs are high, demand is growing, right? And technology has the potential, right, to solve a problem in this industry that I maybe not thinking about or the other people aren't thinking about.
Amazing. Okay, Liz, I'm conscious of your time. You don't have 18 minutes over. Is there anything that you're thinking about, talking about a lot, seeing that you need to say that I didn't ask? Is there anything else that you just think is a really important either insight or point of view that everyone should have?
I mean, I always want to say, I just think small business owners are the most amazing people. I think that the process by which a small business owner builds a sustainable business that can support them and anybody else who comes along is a process of personal transformation. So I'm always very humbled and honored to talk to this audience. But I think the only other thing I would say is there are so many opportunities, and it is a known fact of human psychology that we think about change through a negative lens because of the uncertainty about what it will do to us. I think small business owners are the best positioned out of any of us to think about how to overcome that very natural human bias. And we are absolutely in a place where we do have to overcome that bias in order to build a stronger small business future. We cannot act like everybody else. We have to act in different ways. But I do think that then so many small businesses are going to come through sort of stronger. But I don't think you can ignore the technology. I think thinking about expanding, right, your customer base, not only regionally, but also through your modes of business delivery. If you have an in-person service model right now, you need to think about an online service model. You need to think about a scale service model. You need to think about diversifying to not have one business model, but to have multiple business models, because that's going to be a real risk mitigation measure for your business, and will also create opportunities for you. However the technology goes or however the demand moves, you can move resources from one of your business models to another. And I think that is going to be a very useful strategy for people that are not only trying to sustain their small business, but to grow them as opportunities become more clear.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all that you do. Liz is one of those rare humans who works at a very big company, one of the biggest in the world, but really understands for real and feels and knows and loves small business. And that's part of why I love her so much. So thank you. Thank you, Liz, for being here.
I do. Thank you so much for having me. Truly, you all are the most wonderful. It's such an honor to be here.
Bye. Thanks, Liz. Tell people about what's coming with AI. What can they expect around this big push to leverage AI to help our silvers grow over these next couple of months?
All right, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason. I'm Director of Product at Silver now. That's going to take a little bit to get used to for all of us. And so what we are doing, as Liz was alluding to, AI is right now kind of like a novel, fun thing to play with, and we can talk to it and get information. Maybe some of us are already using tools, but over the next 2, 3, 5 years, it is definitely going to be true that business owners who are not adopting it are going to be outpaced by people who are integrating it into their workflow and into their operations. So we are bringing it in because I think Silver is a phenomenal place where we can embed it to really streamline and enhance your operations. So AI roadmap for kind of the short to medium term. So we'll look at sort of the remainder of this year and a little bit after that. Is one, you'll start getting emails over the next week or two letting you know that the Silver calls, we're going to start recording transcripts. And that it will be optional. If you're not comfortable with it, you can opt out in your settings by all means. But the reason that we're going to start doing this is we can take these transcripts and we'll run them through an AI program that will take the information in that transcript and produce a really nice clean call briefing for the Silver experts, so that next time you get onto a call, even if it's with a different Silver expert, they'll have a detailed account of everything that was talked about, and it'll really streamline those conversations. It'll also produce like tasks. So if you talked about commitments that you need to make, things you need to follow up on, actions you've decided to take, we'll be able to take that. One, your Silver expert will have that automatically recorded and be able to follow up with you to hold you accountable to make sure you actually do it. And two, the next level will be taking those tasks out of your calls and automatically putting them into your Silver account so that it's there on your dashboard. You'll remember that it happened and it'll be part of your plan to execute against. So that'll be the first like immediate thing that'll start happening in the next couple of weeks. And then as that's rolling out, we're going to be building in AI campaigns. So when you're talking to an AI, if you just ask it a question, you'll get a response. If you give it detailed context about what you're looking for, speak to it like just a really smart intern who is on their first day and they don't know what's happening. You give it lots of context so that they can execute the task for you. And so that's what we have with your businesses in Silver is we know your ideal client, we know your time and money budgets, we know what your quarterly strategy is. So we can take that information and then it'll be sort of a ChatGPT-like interface, and you'll talk about what you're trying to do, what you want to do. If it's launch a podcast, think of all the campaigns that exist in there already, those types of things, and it'll generate the campaign with action items and steps. And you can say, I don't understand this step, give me more information, more detail on it, and it'll produce that for you. And it'll all be catered towards your ideal client, where you can find them, how to communicate with them. So that'll be really exciting and quite a step forward on the campaign side for us. And then with that context, and as we get that going, you'd be able to use the same thing to say, generate marketing content for a campaign. You want to create a YouTube video, give me ideas, and it'll know your ideal client. and it'll say, speaking to this type of person in this location, here's some ideas for scripts and things you can say, or social posts, or whatever it might be. So those are the immediate next steps. And Carissa alluded to earlier that we're going to be enhancing the Connect platform, where we all talk to each other, buy and sell from each other. So AI will provide a really robust opportunity for matchmaking within that community as well. If you can say, these are my asks, these are my needs, and other people say, this is what I have to offer, we can start making really powerful suggestions, or even little groups suggesting people you can buy from, people you could sell to, people you might be smart to partner with for a specific opportunity. So those are, I would say, the next three kind of big things. So enhancing the call experience and creating a lot of fluidity between calls and between your calls and your software experience, campaigns and content generation tailored towards your goals, your strategy, your ideal client, and your budgets. And then moving into Connect, using AI to empower our community to support each other and grow together. So that is what is coming.
Okay, so very exciting about this AI stuff coming. It is, I think it's going to revolutionize, if I can be so bold as to say, the way that we can support you guys through both the silver and the silver experts. And what Jason said that I just really want to shout out is that the vision of using AI, it's not to eliminate the human support. As you guys all know, the silver experts are the magical human beings that, you know, make the experience of using the platform and growing your business so successful. But what AI is going to be able to do is augment and support that human experience. It's going to be able to help the silver experts come into calls with you even better briefed. It's going to be able to help you guys build better action plans faster, customized to like your literal zip code or your postal code or your ideal client profile, your sales goals, your profit margins. It's going to allow all the things that the platform is so amazing at, and all the things that the silver experts are so amazing at. It's going to make it better. We're not replacing humans with AI. Be clear. We're not getting rid of humans. We're going to make the platform and the human support better with AI over the next couple months. And that's what I think is the power of AI. It's not to eliminate humans. It's to make all the things we do better. And as our new logo says, it's in the name of helping all of us get better results. So we're going to use AI to make sure that small businesses are more profitable and sustainable. We're going to use AI to change the global economy one small business at a time. And we're going to use AI to make sure you guys all get results. But we're not going to use AI to be less there for you, less human. The opposite. More will be more of everything we are, because we'll leverage this technology to make us better, more scalable, more efficient. We're going to do a 10-minute quick and dirty, actually a quick and sparkly instead, a quick and silvery refresher on your 1-year goal. In order to build a robust, thriving global economy, all of you must be building thriving small businesses. And the number one thing that needs to be true as you grow your small business is that it must have the right sales goal. One of the things I think you guys are probably sick of hearing me say, but too bad, I'm going to keep saying it anyways, is that your actions equal results. And all we do with Silver is we try to help you get all the right structure and support and tech-enabled support and human support and interventions to modify and optimize your behavior, your actions in pursuit of your goals, right? Silver equals results, actions equal results. Our mission is to help you get results. But if your goal is wrong, all of the support we give you is going to be driving the wrong behaviors. And then even though you might be working really hard and spending so much time and so much money and working and working and working and working, it may not work. And so the number one core of building the silver economy is that all of you guys have the right financial goals. All of you have profit margins that are big enough. All of you are built in a way where your business is sound. And when we think about the advice and the perspective that Liz was giving us, going back to our financial models, going back to the actual way that our business sells things and makes money is really critical in uncertainty. As the world continues to change over these months ahead, we as a community will be doing thoughtful sessions on an ongoing basis about how we can keep updating and aligning our strategy, not to get distracted and not to get unorganized and not to start chasing shiny objects, to stay aligned and focused to our strategy, but to make sure that we're responding where we need to in our financial model, in the way we do what we do. So I'm going to zoom us through the silver goal section of your plan. I'm going to do it in the software so you guys can come back and you can do it again. Now that it's so easy to get here, you guys can log into your own account and you can come back and you can go through your own goal over and over and over again to really make sure it's right, even as the world continues to optimize and change and adjust. But let me give you my tips. Let me tell you the things that I hope you're paying attention to in your silver goals. And if you want a silver expert to get on a phone call with you and go through your goal page by page by page, type in chat, silver goal help please, or something like that. Columbo will capture every one of you that puts your name down, and we will reach out to book a call with you so that we can go through your silver goal. But we can't build the silver economy unless each of you succeed. Each of you can't succeed unless your goal is good. You need a good goal. You need a goal that is profitable, sustainable, audacious, and reasonable so that we can make sure you're building a viable business. Okay, so as we go through these sections, here's the Carissa overlay on what I want you to be thinking about. On your fixed personal expenses, add as many as you can. This add expense button is your friend. Don't pretend you don't spend money that you spend. Don't lie. Tell the truth. Get your list of personal expenses as detailed and thorough as possible. As you do, you're going to come in here. It's going to list all the expenses you added. If you forgot one, you can add another one here. So don't worry. We want you to add every possible expense. And I want you to make sure you're adding how much you really spend on each of these things. This account is set up in Rand. It's a South Africa account. But how much money do these things really cost? Don't undercut it. If anything, overcut it. Small business owners chronically underestimate what it costs you to run your life. And so make sure you put all your personal expenses in here. Give as much detail as possible. Keep adding. And no, we add 10% to everything you put in there because we think you probably lied to yourself. Your goal won't be right. You won't make enough money if you lie about how much money it really costs you to run your life. Okay. So you want your personal expenses to be as detailed and as complete as humanly possible. Tip number 1. Same feedback on business expenses. Maybe you're sitting here realizing, oh, wait, I have a really expensive insurance policy because I do some really high risk pottery something. Okay, throw it in there. Push next. It'll be in your list of expenses and you can just keep adding more and more and more and more. You'll notice again, we added another 10% buffer. My storyline here is you spend more money than you realize. Make your personal expenses and your fixed business expenses as detailed and thorough as possible because we calculate against that number. Okay, that will get you to your break-even number. If that number looks really, really small to you, well, then good, you're going to be profitable. If that number looks overwhelming to you, go back and see if you can lower your expenses. Is there anything you can cut? But that means you're making sacrifices. That means you're literally going to go cut those expenses, not just take them out of your SLAP. Okay. Now we talk about the things that we can sell. Now, I want to remind you guys, I think a really good business sells somewhere between 3 and 5 things, not 25,000. If you sell things that don't sell very well, stop selling them. It takes too much energy. If you sell things that don't have a great profit margin, either increase the prices or cut them. You are going to, in uncertainty, and if there is any down market, you're better off selling less things, but more of them, and putting your time and your energy into more focused outcomes. So look at those revenue streams. How many things do you sell? What is the unit price? My next thing I want you to look at is your pricing. 99.9% of the time, small businesses can increase their prices by 25% and no one would even notice. Are you charging enough for what you sell? Look at your pricing. The best way to make more money is not actually to sell more things, it's to increase your prices. That is the fastest way to make more money. You can make the exact same amount of sales, but keep more of that money if you can increase your prices. So think about who your ideal client is. Think about what you sell, think about your current price point, and ask yourself if there is any way that you can increase your pricing. That is your most direct way to higher margins. That is your most direct path to more money. You almost always can. But the trick, my little feedback to you is, I bet you can. I bet you can increase your prices and find some money there. Okay? Now, you don't get to keep all the money you spend. You've got variable expenses. So in this slap, if Ryan sells a t-shirt for, Rand 25 Rand, it costs him 7.75 in materials. He's got to actually get the t-shirt printed. He's got to he's got to have the material itself. He's got to print it. He's got to ship it. So he is document every single cost you incur when you make that sale, because we've got to get to the truth of your profit margins. The thing that's even more important than your pricing is your profit margins. And so as we click next, the software is going to calculate your profit margins for you. I want every one of these profit margins. This is not your company profit margin. This is your profit margin per income stream. I want every profit margin over 60%. So these t-shirts, I'm happy with that. Let's sell more of them. These hats, hallelujah, 91% profit. Let's sell those like crazy. I want to do a campaign right now in the action. Let's sell those hats. These bracelets, 20% margin, forget it. Not even worth it. All that time, all that energy you're spending to sell them and make them and ship them, just stop. You either want to cut your expenses or increase your price point to get that profit margin to 60%, or consider cutting the income stream. These pants are so close. We can definitely find 10% by increasing the price or cutting the variable expenses. But I want every one of your profit margins on each of your income streams at 60% or higher, ideally. That's the mission. Now, once you've got a whole bunch of healthy profit margins, we can go make sales. So now Ryan can say to himself, okay, I sell a lot of t-shirts and they're really profitable, so I'm going to really double down on that. I'd look at those hats. Those hats have the highest profit margin. I'd want to sell way more hats. I'm going to say I'm going to sell 40% of my sales in hats. I'm going to bring my bracelets down to 2% because they don't make me any money. And I'm going to bring my pants to 20% and bring this down to 40%. And I'm going to do 38% here. You always want to try to get the most of your revenue from your highest profit margin income streams, because then you're going to make the most money. So your revenue breakdown is about how you set your sales targets to be focused on selling the things that make you the most money, as opposed to spending all your energy selling things that don't really make you that much money. Okay. Then you set your profit goal. All of you guys should have profitable, sustainable businesses. So think about how much profit you want to make. That's how much money you keep in your bank account at the end of the year. This is above and beyond your salary. If your business is really struggling with cash flow, don't put zero here. I don't want anyone even philosophically having a zero profit margin. Even if you put $100 if your slap is in US dollars, 5,000 Rand, it can be a small amount, but I want each of us building businesses that have profit in there. So set yourself a profit goal, even if cash flow's tight. Let's open up your margins. Let's not give up on profit. Okay. And then you get your summary, which gives you your sales targets. You look at those numbers. This is where a nice, good chat with a silver expert could be really helpful. Can you sell that many things? What does this look like quarterly? What's the reality of this? And then we go to work of looking at that goal and go focusing on hitting it. We set the start date, right, which you might already have. We look at breaking those goals down into quarterly goals. And then we go to action. Then we choose the right connecting strategies and the right campaigns that will help us go find our ideal customers to hit those sales goals. So many times our small businesses, our community gets really overwhelmed with their goal and the numbers feel scary and overwhelming. I hope what I just showed you is that in 10 minutes, you can literally go do a logic test on your sales goals. And actually the skill of profit is really simple. The skill of profit is just based in, are you being honest about your expenses? Do you have the right pricing and profit margins? And are you being reasonable about what revenue breakdown you're doing? So you're selling the most of your highest margin thing and the least of your lowest margin thing. That's the skill of profit. So I want us as a community to get so comfortable in that silver goal section of the platform, so comfortable talking about money and really making sure that every single one of you have a profitable, sustainable, viable sales goal. Because when that sales goal is right, then we can leverage silver and AI and silver experts and campaigns and all of our infrastructure to help you do the right activities to get those results. But we got to get the result right. So use that quick 10-minute reminder to go back and look at your financial goals. For us to build the silver economy, every single one of you needs the right silver goal. That's your responsibility. And then together, we'll move mountains to get all the right structure and support and customers and sales to hit those goals. But the goals got to be right. And that's the number one action item out of today, is that silver lining is going to drive this big 3-year vision. We're going to keep making silver better and better for you. Your job is to get your silver goal right. Make sure you are profitable and sustainable, and then leverage all of our support to hit that goal, to get results. So with that in mind, a big finale, we're at time.